What's up, guys? Ken over here at Back Friday Mystery.
This is Diamond back in the house.
Right now, we're in recovery. Today, we're going to be talking about video game tournaments, eSports, but mainly fighting game tournaments, and we're going to be touching on the Video Game Awards since that is coming up next month in December. But before I get started, slap, like, and share, subscribe. That's the best way to support the channel. The first recognized eSport event was held in 1970 at Stanford University, featuring a game called Spacewar. One of the earliest video games, as far as Spacewar, Galactic, Space Invaders, things of that nature. It's kind of in that universe. But the prize for that tournament in the 70s was a year subscription to Rolling Stone magazine. When I first read that, I thought Rolling Stone was like, what the hell? But at the time, Rolling Stone was huge. But me and you played in tournaments. What do you think about that being like the first prize of a I guess, recognized tournament?
Well, I think back then, what magazine was the go-to thing. Magazines, Rolling Stone, Playboy, all the other stuff that we used to watch back then or read. But Rolling Stones, we're talking about the subscription.
Yeah, the subscription magazine. You pay for it and they have it mailed to your house. That was the prize for that tournament.
I kind of think everybody was doing that, like, even along with like the Muscle Fit magazines and like some of like even now. Do they still even do the game magazines, like what they used to be called?
Nintendo Power was one of the bigger ones. Microsoft and Sony magazine. Yeah. The only one that I think that's kind of left as digital is like Game Informer. And a few other ones that are online. But the ones that I kind of miss, kind of stepping away a little bit, is like the Cheat Code magazine.
Oh, yeah.
And then you remember when you used to go to like, maybe it was Borders, the bookstore, and you used to get like the magazine that got the demo code.
You read the code then, and you gotta try to go home and like put the code in your video game. What was the Action Replay Mac or something like that?
Yeah, Action Replay, and then there was another like Code Breaker.
Yeah,
there's a few of them, and it's one big one that I'm missing. But Action Replay was the one where they became like with cartridges, and then Code Breaker. There's quite a few of them out there, but I just feel like to have that be a tournament, it's like I guess it was worth the money back in the day, but fighting game tournament kind of transitioned into like the 90s with the arcade boom.
Yeah. I guess as far as the prize for Rolling Stone, would you consider that a big?
I wasn't born in the 70s, so maybe having magazines, newspaper was like the best way to get information. So I'm assuming that was like a big thing to have a Rolling Stone subscription in your house. But as a tournament player, is that like a good prize?
Whoever played in that tournament obviously won it. So
yeah, it's a guy named Bruce. I don't know his last name, but the guy that won.
Shout out to Bruce, because you must have wanted that Rolling Stone subscription.
All right. So as video game transition into tournament, it transitioned to the arcade era. So some of the games that blew up was like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, things that kind of transitioned over to the arcade. But one of the big fighting game tournament that was recognized was called Battle of the Bay, which we now know as EVO. So that was like, they got brought out or transitioned over. But EVO, what do you think about EVO and how it is today? Because the word eSports has always been around, but we ain't have eSports arenas. Like now we got arenas.
Well, I think more of the eSports is more, I think of it more of like the big giant groups with like the, at least back then, the big Halo groups would have the tournament 5-on-5, the big Call of Duties, like back then when they used to, they did have like a multiplayer type thing. But those are like more than, I forgot the other video games where they play in a big giant esports tournament where you have a whole team. I think as far as like Evo, you don't really see, unless they're doing like a tag, like a 5-on-5 or 3 versus 3. They do a lot of those now, but I don't think you see those in Evo like how you do in the big giant esports or the master tournaments. I'm forgetting what the names are, but those are more for like the single competitor, or they do like a probably a day before the tournament starts, they'll do an auction off for each character. So if you're playing like Blaze, Blue, Tekken, or Street Fighter, they'll auction off each character, and it'll start at like $10, and then it'll go up to like $100 just to play with that character only in the tournament.
What?
And it's like a little tournament before the actual tournament, and it's kind of fun because you sitting in a crowd and you be like, hey, $10 on Jack or $10 on King, and then if you win that little auction, they have like a really small tournament. Only you get to play as King. Nobody else can play as King.
Does that go into the official tournament?
No, it's just a side thing. It's like a little fun thing. It's real fun. Cause then you see people like betting on your character. Like if I get my character, no other character or person can play that character in that little small tournament. And they do it with like they usually do it for like Combo Breaker, Frosty Faustine. I don't think it's done everywhere, but it's a kind of a known thing here. It's real fun. And they kind of do it with like each game. Like if you're playing Blaze Blue or like Guilty Gear, and then if you want to only play a Sol Badguy, man, you gotta like bid. But sometimes it does get a little bit higher. Like you're playing for, let's say his bid get up to like 120. That goes into the pot.
Oh,
so you see how it can like trickle up.
That's some serious gambling. I need to get involved.
Yeah, it's real fun.
That's pretty cool.
I don't think they have a name for it because it's kind of like they don't broadcast it. It's just like, hey, we doing it. Everybody knows what it is, like when it happened. Then
Have you participated?
No, I have not.
Because
everybody trying to always get certain characters, and some people that don't play with certain characters, like they don't get bid on. But then when you play, once you bid on it, you can only play in that little small tournament. So it's not like everybody can participate because you have to bid for the character.
Dennis Fong was the first recognized professional gamer. The tournament that he won in was Red Annihilation Quake. And I think it was the 70s or whenever Quake was out. I don't think it was the 70s, but whenever Quake Annihilation was out for the PC, Quake was on PC.